So if you maybe make these with some Matildas, maybe a couple Fireflies, like a Firefly, AVRE, and a Matilda grouping with some recon trucks, obviously, would be a pretty hostile force, just because the fact that the AVREs will kill with that 700 meter range. That means they can outrange the most advanced AT, basic AT mobile guns with humans towing them around. Not the tank ones, obviously, but they can put some pressure on that AT, maybe even weaken the AT a bit, the actual armored AT, maybe weaken it a bit, and cause some damage. And then your Firefly, I almost called it a Jackson, then your Firefly can take to start attacking and kill that unit, as your Matildas take the brute force of those anti-tank weapons. Your AVRE can also kill that anti-air for you. If you kill that anti-air, then all you need to do is send in those Typhoons and start hammering down on top of those tanks and those advanced, advanced ATs, and get the win that way. So like an AVRE, Firefly, and a Matilda combined with your air is a very balanced. As you can see, there's very good composition. All of them alone are very horrible. You don't send AVRE by itself. You don't send a Matilda alone. You don't send a Firefly alone. The British, you need a composition of units to be successful. I don't really make this unit a lot, just because of the fact that when I go against the people that have AA, I pretty much just make Wellingtons and destroy them that way. But I can see it being useful in most situations, just the fact that your AA, if the guy has so much AA that it's ridiculous that nothing will even get in that base, then you'll be forced to turn to this AVRE, this Armored Vehicle Royal Engineers, as you can see on the description. So pretty much, if the opponent is turtling so hard and has so much AA that you'll never get in there, even if you nuclear bombed his base, you won't get in there because the nuke will get shot down so fast. If it has that much AA, and then the AVRE is your gun of choice, no research cost. It's got a great range on it for 700 meters because it will outrange any AT, so it won't get shot by AT in the woods, especially if you have that recon vehicle. And it's only $40 for a very good weapon. If you get 2 or 3 of these to clear out that AA and walk in with the rest of your units, you can pretty much take it down. But this is a late game unit, in my opinion. This is a late game slash like last chance sort of unit. The fact that just in case your AA or your planes are so your planes are not going to get in there because that AA is shooting it down so fast, this is pretty much one of those, I need to kill this AA, and I need to make so many of these AVREs, just get them out on the field, maybe 2 or 3, and start clearing that AA out of the woods, and then start bombing them like crazy. And that should be good enough to help you get wins like that, especially if you have those Matildas taking those tank attacks, then you should be okay. And with the 5 armor, AVREs can take a hit and keep on going. So at least if they do die, at least they got a ton of fire off before they went down, which helps a lot. So finally, the last but not least unit is the Churchill. It has 35 damage across the board for infantry, buildings, and trucks. It's got 400 meter range, so it's only 100 meters better than the Matilda. Actually, no, sorry, 100 meters better than the Cromwell. 150 meters better than Matilda. It does its other gun does 300 to trucks. For armored attacks, it does 50, 25, 20, 12, and 8, and that's also 400 meters. And then for infantry, it does 21 and 21 for 250 meters. So pretty much the Churchill is just like a Matilda, but has a better range on it, I guess. That's pretty much it. It's got 150 meter range. Just the fact that it's $40 though is very expensive just for extra armor. And I believe this tank is super slow as well. I wouldn't recommend getting this, to be honest. This is just a big waste unit. This is one of those units where you're playing like a 3v3 and you just feel like spamming a ton of these things for fun at your opponent and just trying to steamroll them with a bunch of Churchills. A big waste in a 1v1. Don't buy them, don't make them, unless your opponent is just like massing infantry or something late game and they have no money left and you just feel like just messing around and crushing them that way. Just like I said, most of these units in this game aren't really meant for 1v1s. There's only a certain amount of units, or certain type of units you need to make for 1v1s to be successful, and this is definitely not it. Don't make it. So I'm pretty much going to go for an overview like I usually do. My voice is slowly breaking down as this goes, but I'm trying to fight through it. So the outpost, like I said, only make it to cover your base. This is a very good unit. Actually, it's only 15 bucks. Very good thing just to cover your base with, just to protect yourself at all times. Anti-tank, don't make it, especially mid-late game. Only make it if you're getting rushed with tanks and you don't really have a lot of money to spend on something like that, or you don't have an anti-tank base, or you don't have a tank base up, or your planes are out of position so you can attack like a medium tank. This will help. At least it's cheap. At least you get a couple of these up, and you can push back that attack just to save your butt and make sure you don't lose the game quickly. Artillery shelter, don't buy it. It just doesn't shoot far enough. It's only really good if you're playing like a 2v2v2 or something close range, or like a 3v3 where the range is so short and you want to just maybe distract your unit or your opponent and just sort of wear them down, or maybe get a lucky building kill or something like that. This is just pretty much a unit just to annoy or harass your opponent. It's not really going to do much in the long run at all. It might get a few kills, but for 30 bucks, I doubt you'll get $30 worth of points back from buying this. But sorry, hey, you never know. You never know what could happen in the game. Regulars, I would not buy. I'd actually end up getting the guards. Like I said, spend the money, get the guards. They do a ton of damage. They do 4 times damage of the regulars. Get it by far. Light tank, Vickers, do not get it unless you're gonna do one of those crazy pushes. If you're gonna push with camouflage net on the left or right, like I said, and hide your barracks with a camouflage net and maybe a radio silence, mass up those heavy infantry, and then send a couple of Vickers just to help out, or just to be that unit that takes all the damage. Because when you attack, you want a unit that will take a ton of damage, that will get all of your bigger force to push and get the win or kill the units. And having tanks with your infantry will help that situation, because most likely the other computer units, if they're not being focus fired, or not the computer units, but the game will probably attack your Vickers tank before it'll attack your heavy infantry. And just due to the fact that that the guards do more damage than the Vickers tank, which is a little weird that a tank does less damage than a human, but apparently it does. Just the fact that the light tank does less damage than the guards, you want those Vickers to die first. Then you're going to want to start attacking with the heavy infantry. So they're just pretty much a support, just a tank unit that will take all the force and die as your light or heavy unit infantry goes in and attacks. Bofors, don't make them unless you're going to turtle. Pretty much it. They're pretty much a waste. You have the air dominance, you might as well use it, make those Spitfires, get the game out. Howitzer, don't use it. It's not that great. I wouldn't recommend getting it. The Sexton, it's the exact same as the Howitzer, but it's armored. I wouldn't recommend getting artillery really for the British, since you have planes that bomb. That's the best artillery you can ever get, because it's going to be accurate every time. A Sexton can miss its target. A plane flying overhead with a gigantic carpet of death will never miss. It will always land on target, because this game has perfect targeting for the planes. The planes will never miss. They'll never drop the bombs in the wrong area. They'll always land where they're meant to be. Like I said, don't get the Sexton unless you really just need to get some kind of artillery up and running, just to push back maybe an infantry rush or something.